Did you know that there are multiple ways to increase your Bitcoin stash, otherwise known as stacking sats? In this video, I'm going to give you 6 methods that you can use to increase your Bitcoin stash. I'm going to look at the major pros and cons and rank them in terms of difficulty from easiest or best for beginners to the most difficult, the options that more advanced users might like to try. Why do we call it stacking sats anyway? Why not just buying Bitcoin? Well, first of all, sats or satoshis are the smallest amount that a Bitcoin can be broken down into. There are 100 million sats in one Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin increases in value, we can increasingly measure things in sats. So instead of saying 0.0001 of a Bitcoin, we can say 10,000 sats. There are other ways to obtain Bitcoin that don't involve buying it directly from an exchange. So the term stacking sats conveys the idea that we are using various methods of collecting many small amounts of Bitcoin over a long period of time, rather than just doing one big purchase. And using a combination of the following methods is a great way to approach the task of increasing our Bitcoin holdings over time, or converting our government tokens, that's fiat, into a hard asset. Let's start with the simplest way, the one that most people begin with. The first and most obvious option is buying Bitcoin on a centralized exchange or through a brokerage. Well-known platforms like Kraken, Swan, or Coinbase make it super easy to buy Bitcoin with your local currency. If you have an internet connection, you can use this method. You choose your platform, sign up, complete KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer requirements, deposit some fiat, and buy your first sats. It's simple, it's fast, and it's the gateway into Bitcoin for many beginners. The barrier to entry is very low. You can be signed up and making your first purchase in 15 minutes or so. But using centralized exchanges do have downsides. First, KYC can be overly intrusive depending on where you're from and the platform that you use. It will usually involve providing some form of official ID like a passport or a national identity card, your tax residency details, and doing a facial recognition scan and providing a document to verify your address. Second, if you don't choose your platform wisely, you can end up being lumped with a lot of different fees and a very unfavorable spread. What this means is that you end up paying a premium on your Bitcoin whenever you buy and sell. Think of it as getting a very poor currency conversion rate when you go on holiday. Third, you must ensure that you can actually withdraw your Bitcoin from the platform that you choose. Some platforms don't even allow you to withdraw it at all. The Bitcoin that you supposedly own stays in their ecosystem. You can only buy and sell. Stay well away from these platforms. I covered this in more depth in my Paper Bitcoin video. And lastly, and most importantly, one common beginner error is buying your Bitcoin on the exchange and then failing to transfer it to self-custody. When you buy on an exchange, you must have a plan for eventually self-custodying your own Bitcoin. Otherwise, you have nothing more than an IOU in an app. So by all means, start at an exchange, but as soon as you can, move those sats to your own wallet. In terms of difficulty, I give centralized exchanges and brokerages a 1 out of 5. Very easy to get started. Now, the second method that I'm going to cover is a way of stacking sats without even buying Bitcoin. There are apps like Fold, Satsback, and Bitrefill which give you Bitcoin back when you shop or pay bills. Many crypto debit cards such as Gemini, Bybit, and Coinbase also will give you spending rewards in Bitcoin. I have a Bybit debit card, and when I spend, and I can spend in anything, not just Bitcoin, I have the option to specify that I want my 2% cashback rewards converted into Bitcoin. So spend on groceries, book flights, pay your bills, and instead of collecting airline miles or store points, you can collect sats. And honestly, I'd much rather have the extra sats than airline miles. So you're stacking while living your normal life. You don't even have to actively think about it. It's very frictionless. So what are the drawbacks? Well, first of all, there are a lot of restrictions with regard to which cards, apps, or cashback rewards are available in which countries. For example, I have full access to all features with my Bybit card, but as an EU resident, I'm not eligible for cashback rewards on a Coinbase card. So you do need to check the fine print carefully. And second, while this is a fun way to earn Bitcoin, I have to say that I don't think it's worth spending your Bitcoin in order to earn a little amount back, because ultimately the providers of these services have built the rewards into the cost of using their products anyway. Therefore, I'd say it's best only if you can spend fiat and earn Bitcoin, or you were going to spend your Bitcoin anyway and the cashback rewards are just a bonus. I'd give this one a difficulty rating of 2 out of 5. Once it's set up, you don't need to do anything, but you do need to find a card that works for you, and in some countries that is going to be a little bit tricky. Before I get to number 3, make sure you hit like and subscribe and turn on the notifications bell to be notified when I drop a new video on my channel. Also, if you want to delve a bit deeper into Bitcoin content, make sure you subscribe to my Substack. The link is in the description below. So the third option is earning Bitcoin directly. This one is a great gig if you can find a way to swing it. Instead of buying Bitcoin with fiat, you can earn it with your time, skills, or creativity. Freelancers can get paid in Bitcoin through platforms like Bitwage or Geyser, or you might be able to find people directly who are willing to pay or accept Bitcoin. For example, my video editor accepts payments in Bitcoin. If you create content like me, you can earn sats through Fountain, Nostr, or Slacker News. In fact, you might notice that I put a QR code on my screen intermittently throughout my videos so that viewers can send me a tip in sats on the Lightning Network. Even small tips or micropayments add up. One day in 20 years' time, I might even be musing about that time a viewer sent me 10,000 sats, and now I can buy a car with that amount. It's empowering because when you earn Bitcoin, you're earning directly in a hard asset that not only protects your purchasing power, it multiplies it. So a payment that you receive today might not look like much, but in 5 or 10 years' time, it might be a fortune. I'm giving this one a difficulty rating of 3 out of 5 because you need to have a saleable skill or product, and you need to find the people willing to pay you in Bitcoin for it. You also need to already know how to transact and custody your Bitcoin if you're going to use this method. But it is becoming increasingly common for people to be willing to pay you in Bitcoin. So now for this fourth option, we're going to move up a level to peer-to-peer or P2P trading. This is how you can buy or sell Bitcoin directly with another person, privately, without a centralized exchange. This is the KYC-free method. You can keep much of your private data anonymous. Platforms like RoboSats, Bisq, and Peach let you trade through the Tor network, keeping your identity and transaction details private. You can pay via bank transfer, cash, Revolut, or even gift cards, whatever works for both parties. Just be aware that sometimes bank transfers can reveal your private details. The trade is held in escrow, so both sides are protected until it's complete. If you run the apps on your own personal server, like a Start9 or Umbrel, you can self-host, and this is the ultimate in privacy and self-sovereignty. It sounds ideal so far, so what are the cons? Well, first, there is a bit of a learning curve. You'll need to understand Lightning, Tor, and wallet management at least. So this option is better for those who are more advanced and who are comfortable using or learning to use these tools. Second, your trading amounts can potentially be quite limited. I've been experimenting with RoboSats and everything happens over the Lightning network, so it's best for amounts between about $20 and $1,000, but I have seen traders offering up to $5,000, so it's not really for big buyers. Third, it's not instantaneous like an exchange. There is some waiting around for offers to be accepted and for collateral to be placed in escrow. Trades can fail if the time limit expires. And fourth, you want to be A-OK with wallet management so you can keep your non-KYC purchases separate from KYC purchases. If by chance you received Bitcoin that was flagged as stolen or proceeds from crime, you don't want to unknowingly mix it in with a stash that you bought on an exchange. So you will need to understand basic UTXO management. I'm giving the difficulty rating a 4 out of 5 because this one won't be doable for everyone. But if you can get it set up and use it properly, it can be a really great option for stacking small amounts. The fifth option is for the hands-on Bitcoiners, and that is running your own Bitcoin miner at home. Home mining means producing new Bitcoin yourself using real mining hardware connected to the network. You've probably seen massive industrial mining farms, but these days you can mine at home with a small, low-power device like the BitAxe Gamma. These are known as hobby miners. You can run them as a solo miner and gamble on hitting it big, or you can join a pool for more steady earnings. They're quieter than the big industrial ASIC miners, pretty efficient and easy to run off normal household power. In the best case scenario, you would run them off renewable energy like your own solar PVC system. They probably won't make you rich. You'd be about as likely to win the lottery because the hash rate is tiny compared with industrial miners. But that's not really the point. Most people run these things because they love Bitcoin and they want to keep the network as decentralized as possible. It's a principles thing. Mining also teaches you how Bitcoin actually works at a deeper level. You can see proof of work in action, you can contribute to network security, and you can earn real sats for it. Think of it as sovereignty through participation. I'm giving this one a difficulty rating of 4.5 out of 5. Generally speaking, the hobby miners are more or less plug and play, but the biggest issue is that you will have a significant cost outlay because the higher the hash rate, the more you'll end up paying for it. You'll be consuming power as it runs. It might make a little bit of noise, and you will need to have some understanding of how mining works, at least at an overview level. If you're going to mine at home, you will probably already have a self-custody Bitcoin set up and be comfortable with hardware in general. And finally, the most advanced option, but probably the most rewarding for stacking sats, is living in Bitcoin. So this means creating or joining a Bitcoin circular economy, trading directly with others who also value sound money. Usually this will be specific to your area. For example, maybe you are selling homemade goods at a local farmer's market and accepting Bitcoin payments. Or maybe you're a handyman whose services can be paid for with Bitcoin. Or you have secondhand goods to sell and you want to exchange them for a little bit of Bitcoin. This involves actively creating a community of people who will pay and accept payments in Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer economy built on sound money. Not just a one-off, but a network that will grow over time. The major con of this option, of course, is that it will be very dependent on where you live and who you are surrounded by. In some places with very low levels of Bitcoin awareness, it just won't be possible. It will involve work and active participation. For example, you may have to organize a local meetup group and encourage others to join you and educate them about Bitcoin. So I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5 for difficulty, just because the sheer amount of work that is involved in establishing and maintaining a local Bitcoin network. But this is where Bitcoin stops being just an investment and starts being a way of life. So do you know about any other ways to stack sats? Let me know in the comments, and if you're new here, subscribe for more videos like this one. Also, check out the video that just popped up on the screen, recommended especially for you by YouTube's algorithm. See you in the next video.